Audio check one.
Welcome into Clippers Countdown. As your 35-29 LA Clippers are back out on the road again, starting in the Big Easy, where nothing has come easy for the 17-48 New Orleans Pelicans this season, who have been going through roster turnover with Brandon Ingram now in Toronto, and they've been ravaged by injuries with DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones, and Zion Williamson, who's only played in 26 games so far this season. But that's still 4 more than Kawhi Leonard, who's just starting to flex his muscles and remind us the full extent of his powers and just what it means to have a superstar late in the game when you need them most.
Game clock at 15. Clippers down 1. Kawhi hovers the ball above the shoe top to 10. Working on Murray. Still has his dribble. 8 seconds. It's Leonard against the world with 6. Dribbles it with 5. Right elbow with 4. Kawhi with 3. Back to the basket. Spins into the paint. The floater for the win. Rolls in! And the Clippers come back to beat the Kings. 111-110. Kawhi, the hero, in overtime and into it.
Call him clutch.
He struggled all night, but when the team needed him most, the claw comes through in the clutch. Clippers win it 111-110 and take the season series against Sacramento.
Yes, sir. Carlo Jimenez on the call. You can call him the Claw. You can even call him the Kingslayer in this case, as Brian Shaw called his number late to take the final shot that would beat the Kings 111-110 in OT. And not only give the Clippers their biggest win of the season, given the standing situation, but their first buzzer beater at Intuit Dome. Here was Kawhi postgame on with Christina Pink.
Kawhi, with the game on the line, you came up for this team in the clutch. Walk me through that last shot.
Tried to get to my spot going right. The defender came, cut me off, spin move back, and I just trust my work. Throw it up with the left hand.
Talk about trusting the work. On a night where the shots weren't falling early, what is your mindset in that moment?
Keep shooting. I'm not going to give up. I'll go 0 for 30. But I'm going to have the same mindset to keep shooting. This is what proves it right here.
Kawhi, in a game of massive implications in the standings, you guys also win your 3rd straight at home. What did the urgency feel like for this group tonight?
Very urgent. I said this before, it's going to make or break us. We're playing in playoff basketball games right now with the atmosphere and with every possession counting with the standards that we're in. And, we'll see what happens.
All right, congrats on the dub, Kawhi.
Now can the Clippers turn it into more than just a dub, but maybe a string of them, and something used to build momentum and propel them forward as they head out on the road for their next 3 games starting tonight in New Orleans. Tip-off between the Clippers and Pelicans is just about 60 minutes away. Coming up, we got your assistant coach and B. Shaw on, plus Lauren Rosen, your sideline reporter and courtside reporter will be here. But up next, it's your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez as you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up.
Clippers in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Tip-off is just about 58 minutes away. Welcome back. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. We're coming up. You're going to hear from assistant coach B. Shaw, who was filling in last game during a pretty dramatic victory by the Clippers at Intuit Dome with a Kawhi game winner late, as called by Carlo Jimenez, who is joining us now on the pregame show from New Orleans. Carlo, how we doing?
Adam, it is so good to hear from you. I am doing good. I am ready to get this road trip going. The Clippers are going to be looking for a big-time win over the Pels. Most importantly, I'm excited for this Clipper group. 3 straight wins going into this 3-game road trip. Opportunity to really build on what happened last time out for the Clippers.
111-110 was the final in OT, courtesy of the Claw, who hit a ridiculous buzzer beater spinning to his left with a left-handed push shot, runner, hook, whatever you want to call it. Even interim coach or fill-in head coach, active head coach B. Shaw had trouble with that one on how to describe it. You did not, Carlo. It was a heck of a shot by the Claw and one of the best shots so far in its inaugural season at Intuit Dome.
It really was something special. And for Kawhi Leonard to hit the first ever game winner, the first ever win in overtime in that building, just very poetic how the world works. Excellent stuff there from the Claw. Getting to as we all would have thought, Adam, a 2-foot left-handed hook over a triple team outside the paint. Of course, that's the way the game's going to go, right? Off of back rim and front of the rim bounce. Overall, though, impressive by Kawhi Leonard and by the Clipper coaching staff to trust their superstar to make those shots down the stretch. Again, Kawhi is somebody who has experience making those shots. Don't remind the Philadelphia 76er fans when you have Lauren Rosen on earlier. I'm sure she will mention shades of what she saw in that game against the Sixers. But a great win for the Clippers, one that hopefully helps them bolster into this next game against New Orleans. Because, Adam, let's be honest, this group has only won one 4-game winning streak. That's the longest winning streak of the season. I'd like to see them put together one of maybe 5, 6, 7 games going into the final stretch of the season. The schedule is going to get a lot harder. The Clippers are going to see OKC, Cleveland, New York again with a healthy Jalen Brunson. The Clippers have to be able to take advantage of games in which they feel like they can stack wins. As Ty Lue and Brian Shaw always talk about, stacking days is what's most important.
Yeah, time to play your best basketball of the regular season right now is down the stretch they come. You know, it wasn't just that shot from Kawhi Leonard, though, to win it. To get to that point, James Harden was making some big shots late in the fourth quarter, early in overtime, some beautiful passes as well, finding Ivica Zubac in the pick and roll. He was absolutely running the show out there and also was making clutch buckets.
He was excellent in that ball game. I think for the Clippers, just being able to get downhill, get into the painted area, and attack and punish teams in the paint, that has been a big key for them this season. I mean, you mentioned somebody like Ivica Zubac, Adam, 8 straight double-doubles. That is a career high, tying 8 straight double-doubles from earlier this season. That's how good he has been. He just continues to get better for the Clippers as the season goes on, averaging nearly 24 points in his last 4 games on 60% from the field. It's going to be fun to continue to watch and describe the development of Ivica Zubac on the floor. We've seen extend his game at him. He looks super comfortable from those floaters at the dotted hash about 10 feet away from the rim. And the Clippers are truly running plays for him for the first time in his career on a consistent basis. He is taking advantage of that.
I thought DJ also was critical down the stretch, playing big minutes late, knocking down a couple of 3 balls. The energy he brings, the verticality out there, he has a lot of what this Clippers team needs, and that defense, that is a calling card of his. He always falls back on that, and the versatility in that area, of course, is immense in helping the Clippers.
He's almost at 37% from the three-point line this season, Adam. And he's 8 for his last 15 from 3. 53% from 3 in his last 4 games. He's hit multiple threes in 4 straight contests. He's really coming into his own after coming off that injury that forced him to miss a couple games earlier out of the All-Star break. The biggest thing for Derrick Jones Jr. is going to be that three-point shooting average. Adam, already a career high there. But if he can keep that number to 36, 37%, down the stretch, I think we're going to see a lot of Derrick Jones Jr. because he spreads the floor with his three-point shooting and his ability to just lasso in rebounds with that huge 7'2" wingspan and then also defend guys with that wingspan has been impressive.
Carlo Jimenez is on the call. The Clippers embark on a 3-game road trip, coming off winning 3 in a row back it into a dome tonight. They're taking on the Pelicans in New Orleans. Tip-off is just about 52 minutes away, and up next, Carlo's got his one-on-one conversation with assistant coach Brian Shaw right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Pelicans from New Orleans. Tip-off is just 50 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. Still to come, you're going to hear from your courtside reporter and Lauren Rosen on the show. But first, we got to get back out to Carlo Jimenez.
Thanks so much, Adam. Here with assistant coach Brian Shaw before the Clippers take on the New Orleans Pelicans. Coach, team's down by 7, less than 2 minutes left. Where does the poise from this group come from and the confidence to get that comeback?
Well, one of the things that comes with being one of the older teams is, you have experience and you don't really panic. You know that, especially with the three-point shot, that anything can happen. And it's not over until it's over. So our guys get down when we were in that moment. Earlier in the game, I think at one point in the third quarter or fourth quarter, I can't remember when it was, we had a 9-point lead, and they ate that up pretty fast.
Yeah.
So, we just took what the defense gave us. We got the stops that we needed to. Didn't try to get it all back in one play, one possession, and it worked out for us.
You look at your last 5 games, the team's averaging just 10 turnovers. It's 6 less than what your season average is. What has led to taking care of the basketball better?
Well, I wish I knew exactly what it was. I would coin it and put it in a bottle and give it to us before every game. But it's something that we talk about and we emphasize. We don't always, it doesn't always come to fruition in terms of, us wanting to take care of the ball. But I think just, as the season's gone on, getting more accustomed to, each other's habits. We've had a lot of different lineups out there, with the injuries that we've had, that we've sustained, so that throws different guys into different positions. But, and then, we count on James so much to handle the ball and make plays for us, and teams are constantly trying to put him under duress. We're happy with the fact that, the guys have, taken a major step forward in taking care of the ball. Because we feel like with our defense performing the way it has pretty much all season long, if in the areas of defensive rebound, if we can limit teams to just one shot. If we can take care of the ball, that'll allow us to not be in a deficit, getting back in transition. And then, if we can do those things, we give ourselves a great chance to win the game.
Last one for you, but this is a Western Conference game against a New Orleans team that's 4 hours away from LA. You're someone who's coached and played in the Eastern Conference. You've coached and played in the Western Conference. How different are those schedules?
It's on top of that, we just said daylight savings, and so we lost an hour. But you can't really complain or cry about it. That's the schedule that they've given us, and so we have to play the cards that we're dealt. And we have, I think, 18 games left or something, to that point. So we're not going to start making excuses now. It's what's on the schedule. We got to play the game, so we might as well handle our business.
All right, thank you so much. Best of luck.
All right, thanks.
Carlo Jimenez there pregame with assistant coach Brian Shaw. Tip-off from New Orleans between the Clippers and Pelicans is just about 45 minutes away. Coming up next, we'll go back in time in Clippers Rewind right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Tip-off is just 41 minutes away. Welcome back. I'm Adam Osland. This is the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. It's Clippers Countdown. Still to come, we'll get to your player to watch, but first we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind. Over 7 years here to January 28th of 2018. Maze Runner, The Death Cure, was at the top of the box office. You remember that one? Maze Runner, The Death Cure? Yeah. I prefer The Labyrinth. Havana by Camilo Cabello was everywhere on the radio. And the Clippers were in New Orleans and needed a big shot late.
Palms the ball with the left hand, extends it from his body, standing straight away from the rim. Trying to get it to Milos with 5 to shoot. Milos gets it left side to Griffin with 4 to shoot. Fires a contested 3. It is good. Oh my, the shot of the game. 108 to 102.
Blake Griffin with a big three-pointer there. He had 27, 12, and 7. And that final shot, that dagger 3 he hit, his final shot that he took as a Clipper. He was traded the next day to Detroit. You know, it happened with Tobias Harris too. He hit a game winner and then was traded to Philadelphia. But of course, we'll love them both still. Toby, Blake Griffin is an all-timer. I know many of you would like to see his jersey raised in the rafters at Intuit Dome someday. Clippers taking on the Pelicans in New Orleans. Tip-off just 40 minutes away, and up next, your player to watch right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Tip-off just 36 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown. Still to come. We'll have Lauren Rosen on, your courtside reporter. But first,
this is LA Clippers basketball.
Watching this guy play right now is really something.
Players to watch.
you know what? I'm going back-to-back. I did have Kawhi pregame as my player to watch last time out. He hit the game winner, but he did struggle from the field. Kawhi was just 7 of 19, 17 points. Of course, the biggest shot of the ball game, played 40 minutes. Is available and playing in this one, likely out tomorrow in Miami. But I want to see what that shot can do for him. As we move along here, what does that do for a superstar like Kawhi to hit a shot like that at Intuit Dome. Your first buzzer beater there. Down one, not a tie game. Not, hey, he misses it, you go to double overtime. This was hit it or we're taking an L to the Sacramento Kings. Because of the standings implications, it was the biggest game of the season, biggest shot of the season. Now I want to see what Kawhi can do for an encore. If he can really put together one of his most efficient games, I'm looking for 25 plus, and I need that efficiency from Kawhi in this one. Things have been a little bit up and down with him as of late. We'll see what he can do in New Orleans against the Pelicans. Coming up next, we'll get to that injury report. Tip-off is just about 36 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.
I'm going to leave him a note. This is fun.
Clippers taking on the Pelicans from New Orleans. Tip-off is just 32 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome back in. This is Clippers Countdown. Coming up, we got your courtside reporter in Lauren Rosen from New Orleans. But first, let's get to that injury report brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, download the app today and use code KLAC to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. For the Clippers in this one, Drew Eubanks is questionable, dealing with left hip soreness. Still no Norman Powell with that right hamstring strain. Still no Ben Simmons with that left knee injury. Both of them will be out the remainder of this road trip. For the Pelicans, Jose Alvarado, Grand Theft Alvarado, is available in this ball game. Former Clipper Brandon Boston, though, will be out, left ankle injury.
Hold on.
DeJounte Murray, of course, out for this team right now. And coming back is Zion Williamson and CJ McCollum, though. They have enough firepower. We know how good they've been against the Clippers for years. And this has been a troubling place for the Clippers to be. It's been a house of horrors playing at the Smoothie King Center. Tip-off is just 31 minutes away. Coming up next, we got Lauren Rosen joining us here on Clippers Countdown from New Orleans, Clippers and Pelicans. And we're just about 30 minutes away from tip-off. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Tip-off is just about 29 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. Coming up, we'll get to an NBA out-of-town scoreboard, but joining us now from the Smoothie King Center, call it the Smoothie Queen Center, we got Lauren Rosen joining the show here on Clippers Countdown. The Rosen one, once again. Lauren, how you doing?
That was so clever, Adam. Thank
trying.
you so much. Thrilled to be here at the Smoothie King Center, but thrilled even more so to be back with you on the show.
Let's talk about what occurred last time out. I know you've seen Kawhi get one of those Plinko chip-like bounces to go in a game-winning situation before when you were working for the Philadelphia 76ers. Where were you? Did you feel confident when the shot left his hand, his left hand, as it was in that game at Intuit Dome?
Not my first Kawhi Leonard buzzer beater. That is the truth, Adam. And listen, his ability to place those shots, I don't think it's a coincidence, right? We talked about it for years following in Philly. We still talk about it. The Philly community does. The quadruple doink, the quadruple bounce that went in. And then this one, of course, from a difficulty perspective, was certainly right up there with all 5 defenders closing on him with the left hand. Not a coincidence, though, is the point I'm trying to make here, because if you've watched Kawhi and you've seen him work, and of course, what I've seen is limited, right? He came back a little bit late this season, and practice days were limited once he got back. But every day that I have observed, Kawhi comes in 30, 45 minutes, an hour before almost everybody else, and he's working on those shots. It's not luck. It is skill. It is practice. It is methodical. And it was really cool to see.
You make your own luck, and yeah, practice makes perfect. That was an unbelievable shot from the claw. And I wonder what that does for him moving forward now, Lauren, because he wasn't a shooting funk in that ball game, but he was still having that responsibility of taking the biggest shot of the game. I wonder what that does for his confidence, as he's just been a little bit off with the shot as of late.
It's got to be good for his confidence, and I think we learned a lot about where his confidence is despite those shooting numbers that you mentioned, right? He said it in his post game with Christina Pink. He wasn't going to go 0 for 30. He knows, he trusts his work, he understands how great he is. This, when healthy, Adam, is one of the greatest scorers that the NBA has ever seen. So his confidence is already up. But yes, you have to imagine that a shot like that going in, and again, not for the first time, got to feel good. And it was all over his face. It was all over his teammates' faces. And of course, you hope that that can carry over into what could and should be a good road trip for the Clippers.
He had a great embrace with James Harden afterwards. He was going for the high five. James Harden said, no, we got to hug this one out, bro. That was too big of a shot right there. But James also hit a ton of big shots in that game against the Kings. He led them with his 29 points. He just had a 50-point game. And after struggling in those 2 games against the Lakers, James Harden has really turned things around here.
Closing in on another 30-point triple-double ahead of Kawhi's heroics. James has been, and you and I have talked about it, so ageless this season. You are not seeing even a little bit of wear and tear. And make no mistake, Adam, I'm not quite as old as James is, but you feel it in your body. You feel aging in your body. So you know that he has to feel it, at least to some degree. We're not seeing it at all. He looks better than ever. He looks confident. He's been communicative. And you said it, again, nearing a 30-point triple-double and a 50-point game in the same week, including back-to-backs. He said it all season long. He'll rest when the season ends.
He will be well rested at that point with how many minutes he's been playing. 44 in that game against the Kings. We've seen a minutes uptick with Nico Batum as of late, and I like it. He played 34 against the Knicks. He played 28 against the Kings. He went 3 of 3 from the outside to get to his 9 points. We know he does all the little things out there, but he's such a great glue guy and presence, a veteran presence down the stretch with just, I believe, 18 games left in the season. I'm interested to see, Lauren, how they use Nico Batum moving forward here, because they need a guy like that right now.
Well, speaking of agelessness, Adam, Nico Batum looks just as good as he has for the entirety of my NBA journey, right? And we talk about this with Chris Dunn quite a bit. Players that have found a way to create longevity for themselves in this league based on secondary NBA skills, right? You're not really going to see a Chris Dunn or a Nico Batum lead the team in scoring under normal circumstances when you have the talents that this Clippers team has. But you're going to see him in the mix because he has become elite. at the little things. He's still a great shooter, a great defender, an excellent inbounder. That was something we learned about him back in his Philly days. He had more than one occasion, 0 minutes, but played, right? Because he was used simply for an inbounds opportunity. He does the little things at a super high level, and it has created new contract after new contract as he gets into his late 30s, and he's earned it. And we're seeing a young Chris Dunn, obviously with a different skill set, but working into that model as well, finding ways to be elite and create staying power in a league where it's not easy to stick around, Adam.
I thought it was also a cool moment because obviously Coach Lou was out. We just heard the news about 30 minutes before the game started. And B. Shaw comes in, was pushing all the right buttons. They were talking to Coach Lou apparently during the ball game. They FaceTimed with him afterwards. He said he almost had a heart attack, just like everybody in the building for that one, because it was that type of game with that type of stakes. But Brian Shaw has been a head coach in his past, and for him to step in seamlessly and make that transition out of nowhere and to win a game like that late with him putting the right guys in the right spot to succeed, pretty cool for this Clippers team.
Absolutely, Adam. And he talked about it just moments ago during his pregame media as the acting head coach once again this evening. Brian Shaw has had nothing but positive things to say about this coaching staff, the cohesiveness, the way that they understand one another, the way that perhaps there are multiple guys on the bench that could have stepped into the role that Brian Shaw will be playing again this evening, right? Gave a ton of credit to Jeff Van Gundy for what he's done on defense, and then gave a ton of credit for Ty Lue for the system that he has established in which B. Shaw can step up, step in, and things can feel seamless. You imagine there's going to be a ton of communication from Coach tonight once again. You're right. They were talking to him in game, which is cool. You can't completely take Ty Lue out of any Clippers ball game.
He's a hoops head. That's what he does. Somebody who I think has been a little bit of an unsung hero, especially of late, coming off the bench, but he's never complained about it. Derrick Jones Jr., 28 minutes played, was playing clutch minutes late, 7 of 9. He had 17 points out there and a couple of big three-pointers. And this season, some of what he did in Dallas, Lauren, with his three-point shooting during that playoff run to the finals next to Luka Doncic last year, it's carried over. His three-point shooting has still been there. So he does all these great intangible little things. He's a great defender, but he's knocking down big shots for this team. I was happy to see him also get another one in overtime that helped lift the Clippers above the Kings.
It's been a career year for him in more ways than one, right? When you acquire a Derrick Jones Jr., you know that hopefully you're going to get great defense, you're going to get some scoring, you're going to get that trademark athleticism and ability to fly. He has done all of that and more, Adam. He's done it as a starter. He's done it coming off the bench. He's a delight to be around. He couldn't be a nicer person. His teammates have really all gravitated towards him. He's a family guy. I have absolutely loved getting to know and watching Derrick Jones Jr. succeed. He's been awesome. You're exactly right. And you imagine that, again, on another short-handed road trip, you don't know exactly which roles he's going to play most while we're out here on the road, but they're going to need him, and he's going to rise to the occasion.
Also soft-spoken in a way that can be a little bit intimidating, and I like it. He's talked about, I dunk on my mama. Like, I don't care who's out there once the ball is up. Okay, player to watch. Tonight, maybe I'm picking an easy one here. I'm going with Kawhi Leonard as my player to watch. Carlo's giving me the look now already. He's upset with this selection, but
how is that allowed?
It should be allowed. Come on now. Overall, I know he hit the game winner, but he struggled. I just want to see what that game winner does for him shooting-wise with the efficiency now.
All right, whatever.
Lauren, who are you going with your Clippers player to watch tonight?
Adam, I'm going Big Ivica Zubac this evening. Listen, while technically not a center, you know that the Zion Big Zoo matchup is going to be in front of us here in just moments. I think Big Zoo's got the edge on pretty much anyone that he comes up against these days. He's not getting enough credit for what he's doing offensively. He's certainly not getting enough credit for what he's doing defensively. By my estimation, a most improved candidate in his own right, but also an all-defensive team candidate, should have been an all-star candidate. So for the foreseeable, Adam, I might name him my player to watch because, listen, we've seen teams much stronger than the Pelicans struggle to contain Big Zoo and struggle to score over Big Zoo a ton in these last few weeks. So if he's able to be himself, the Zoo that we've gotten to know this season, the Pelicans are going to have a real hard time this evening.
I'm with you. And for a guy that big to be overlooked at times, it still feels like in this league, with all the accolades he's starting to amass here, it says something, but he doesn't need the praise. He just wants to go out there and ball. She is Lauren Rosen. Follow her at Lauren M. Rosen on social media platforms from the Smoothie King Center with a smooth delivery here on Clippers Countdown. Lauren, thanks for joining me once again.
You're so good, Adam. We'll do another one later this week, I hope.
Let's do it. Coming up next here on Clippers Countdown, we got an NBA out-of-town scoreboard for you guys as we get set for the Clippers taking on the Pelicans in New Orleans. Tip-off is just 18 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Thanks again to your courtside reporter and Lauren Rosen for joining the show as we're just about 16 minutes away from tip-off. Coming up, we'll get back to Carlo Jimenez. But first, let's get to your drive around the league. It's brought to you by Toyota's electrified lineup, including hybrids, plug-in hybrids, all electrics, and even fuel cell electric vehicles. So you can choose exactly the type you need for your lifestyle. We make it easy. Believe it or not, this is the final game tipping off in the association tonight with a 5 p.m. Pacific tip-off. And Daniel West was just working through it. I was asking him, what's going on? Our producer here, he believes it's because, well, a lot of the arenas out west are hosting some college basketball as we get set for the tournament going on. You're seeing conference championships being played right now. That must be it. Only 5 games in the association total, and this is the last one tipping off. That's wild to me. But currently in the second quarter in Cleveland, it's the Cavaliers down 40-33 with 7 minutes left in the second quarter to the Brooklyn Nets. Evan Mobley out of USC already has 12 points in that one. Cavaliers with the best record in the league at 54-10. Don't tell the evil four-letter. They just want to talk about the Lake Show. Second quarter action in Detroit. Pistons up 45-30. They seem a little bit more exciting than how Shaq described them. Cade Cunningham has 8 points early on. 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Now they lead by 13 points over the Wizards in Detroit. And just getting underway in Indianapolis, it's the Bucks up 18-16 on the Pacers. Giannis Antetokounmpo was 6 of the Bucks' 18 points with 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Coming up next, back to Carlo Jimenez, back to Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. Clippers and Pelicans. Tip-off 13 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers taking on the Pelicans in New Orleans. Tip-off is just 11 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome back into Clippers Countdown. Still to come, we'll get your keys to victory, but back out to Carlo Jimenez in New Orleans. All right, Carlo, before we get to your player to watch here, tell me about this Pelicans team, because they seem like a little bit of a wild card here with the guys who are available that haven't always been so far this season. They've had a tough one when it's come to injuries.
Yeah, they've had a lot of players miss this season due to injury, like you mentioned, Adam. They have the sixth most different starting lineups in the NBA. So they have had to rotate numerous different guys throughout the starting lineup all season long. That includes tonight. They're rolling out Bruce Brown to start for the first time this season. So make it the 38th different starting lineup for the Pelicans on the year. That is a lot of them. For this New Orleans team, though, they do two things really well, Adam. They get out in transition. They're averaging nearly 17 points per game on the fast break. That is tied for sixth in the NBA. But in wins, they're averaging 22 points per game in fast break. So they really want to push the ball. That number is the second most in the league in wins behind Denver, who we know loves to get out and run. And this is a Pelican team that crashes the offensive glass. They're top 10 in the NBA in offensive rebounding rate, and they are fifth in the NBA in second chance points. So they want to push, they want to get out and run. And like you said, they have brought in some new pieces. Kelly Olynyk has been a really nice addition for them. He is out today with rest, but CJ McCollum is kind of running the show. Zion is playing after not playing the last game. He is sitting back-to-backs. And then you look at this bench unit, Adam, it's almost completely different from when the Clippers last saw this New Orleans team back on December 30th. They're rolling guys out like Jose Alvarado, who didn't play that game. Antonio Reeves is getting big minutes. We'll see Jordan Hawkins tonight coming off the bench. I mean, it should be interesting to watch this New Orleans team who continues to just try to find the right pieces. It reminds me a lot, Adam, of Memphis a season ago, because it was a Memphis group that came in with a lot of expectations. Obviously, their season just obliterated by injuries. I think they signed the most players in the NBA in that year ever in the league. And then they were able to bounce back and be what now looks like a shoe-in playoff team for the Grizzlies. This is pretty much what New Orleans going through this year. If they were healthy, this would be a group that would be in the mix of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a great parallel. I do think they're better than their record currently with who's available tonight in this ball game. And the Clippers have had their issues against them regardless of who's been available over the seasons for whatever reason. The Pels, for the most part, have had their number, especially in New Orleans. All right, you heard it earlier. I have Kawhi Leonard as my player to watch. Lauren Rosen has Ivica Zubac. So you got a few guys left to choose from, Carlo. Who are you going with?
I mean, I'm glad just my player to watch wasn't picked, because Derrick Jones Jr. is going to have another fantastic game for the Clippers. He's coming in on a hot streak. I think he continues that hot streak against the Pelicans. This is somebody who can be pivotal for the Clippers. When you think of come playoff time, often, Adam, it is players who are not the headliners that step up and play a level of basketball that is outside their regular season averages that help teams propel. Derrick did that at the end of the year for the Dallas Mavericks. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to do it again here for the Clippers. I expect a big night from Derrick Jones Jr. And Adam, I mean, not to pull out the receipts, but
wait, what?
Every time I've picked him, he's played well. So we're gonna keep it rolling. Me and DDJ go way back.
Is that true, Chad? Is that real, or is Carlo?
Is
Carlo just wilding and making things up right now?
I think the last 2 times I picked him, he's gone off.
Okay, fair enough. I know you picked Nico Batum when he went off for his season high.
Thank you.
So let's talk about Nico. I brought it up with Lauren Rosen a little bit earlier, but to me, it looks like the ramp up in minutes maybe could be getting him ready for playoffs, because, Nico Batum to me can be a secret weapon for this team. He hasn't been playing heavy minutes, but all of a sudden he's averaging 24 this month so far. He's gone over 30. I hope this is a sign of things to come, because Nico's just one of those guys. He rarely loses his minutes when he's out there on the floor. He always makes winning plays.
He really does always make winning plays. I mean, this is somebody, Adam, who before that Detroit game to start the 3-game homestand had started 2 games all season. That is 2 games in the 59 he had played, and he's now started the last 3 up to 5 on the year for Nico Batum. So he's continuing, like you talked about, to play a larger role, somebody who could be a sneaky playoff addition really for the Clippers, as he was out of the lineup at times throughout the regular season through the first 60 some odd games. On the other end, Adam, for this Clipper team, Nico Batum's 3-point shooting has been huge for them this season. 9 for 11 from 3 in his last 3 ball games, and 41% on the season. He has been excellent from bonus distance.
Clippers taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. One more for you here, Carlo. Even though Chris Dunn's struggling with his three ball right now, you always feel like he's going to be a net positive out there just because of how good he is defensively. He's still in the starting lineup. I like this matchup with CJ McCollum out there, seeing Chris Dunn possibly across from him throughout this ballgame.
Chris Dunn, second in the NBA in steals this season, tied for second. Dyson Daniels, number one. But I agree with you. The Clippers are going to have to disrupt CJ McCollum. 33 points last time out at him, and 8 made threes against the Clippers on that December 30th matchup. McCollum has had the Clipper numbers in the past, and Chris Dunn is a player who changes the complexion of the ballgame. Not so much because of his defense, but I'd say more because of his energy, Adam. He raises the Clippers' floor when it comes to their energy on the hardwood, and it starts with his ability to be able to attack the play hard. We've talked to Breshaw and T. Lou about it, but both of them have talked about when you have guys who play that hard on the floor, as a teammate, you want to play harder for them. You see the effort they are putting in, and that's what Chris Dunn does for the Clippers. It's a big reason why, Adam, I think this is start number 13 in a row for Chris. He has become a staple in the starting lineup since Derek went down with injury and kind of kept that role. And both those guys seem to be thriving in their roles right now. Eventually, the Clippers will have to cement some sort of starting lineup, I would imagine, before playoff time. And it feels like this group that they're rolling out right now could be the starters come playoff time. And James, Chris, Kawhi, probably insert Norm there for Nico and Ivica Zubac.
I wouldn't hate it. He's Carlo Jimenez on the call. Clippers in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Tip-off just moments away. Coming up next, we'll get to your keys to victory right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Tip-off just moments away. Let's get to your keys to victory. Pelicans are 24th in three-point percentage. Keep them there. Clippers have been holding teams at 28% from three over the last 4 games. The numbers are going back their way. Clippers also been a little bit hotter from the outside. Not so much last game, but continue to put him up. Kawhi, he's 3 for his last 19 from distance. Want to see him get off the schneid there. As we talked about, CJ McCollum in the first meeting had 8 3-pointers. You can't let him get going against the Clippers tonight. Chris Dunn will be his primary defender. All right, here we go. It's Carlo Jimenez on the call. Clippers and Pelicans from Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, and tip-off is coming up next right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.